God when I want to pray, when I'm suffering, because now God is in control and He controls all the sufferings. Do I say He must take away the suffering? But then the Bible says we're supposed to suffer for Him.
Yeah.
So when I'm praying, I'm like, God, take away the pain.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, God, I'm suffering because I'm supposed to suffer for You.
What a great follow-up question. What a great follow-up question. So I suppose there's extremes that we want to stay away from. We want to stay away from extreme that while it recognizes that suffering is real and present, we kind of run towards that suffering and go, give me more, give me more, give me more. Now, hopefully you're able to recognize that's just weird, and that's not honoring to Jesus, okay? In the other extreme, we don't want to kind of go, I'm not willing to put up with any suffering at all. So you want to stay away from both of those extremes. Now, here is the good news. For every other religion, and I use that term very loosely, there is no hope that is given to you in the midst of suffering. So God is always distant. God is always there in heaven. And He kind of, you can imagine Him, the big brother God. He looks down and He goes, oh, those people, they're suffering down there. And, maybe He sheds a single tear that drops down, probably as some kind of tidal wave that then whoops out a whole bunch of other people. But he's always aloof to our problems. This is not the God of Christianity. The second member of the Trinity, God the Son, entered into our human problem, into our human circumstances. And now, at least when we cry to God and we say, God, this sucks, this really sucks, we're not dealing with this God who is so other to us that He has no idea what it's like. Right now, those who trust in Jesus get to pray to God the Father, who has at His right hand God the Son, who still bears His scars of what He went through. And so when we pray, when we cry out like this, we cry out to a God who knows our suffering. And so that at least makes us understand, it gives us assurance that He is with us in our suffering. Now, that hasn't answered all your question. Here's the rest of your question. What should I pray? If suffering is to be expected, what should I pray? And I think there's two things that we can pray. One, because God is sovereign and good, it's okay for us to pray, Lord, remove the suffering. Please. My mom has cancer. Would you please heal her? That's right. That's right for us to go, Father, all things are in your hands. Would you please heal? But the other thing we need to remember is that He hasn't promised any of those things. He has promised to be with us in suffering. He has not promised that He will remove all suffering. And so while we pray these things, we also want to go, Father, remove this. But Father, if you don't, would you please help me? Would you please help my mom? Would you please help whoever it is over here to still trust in you, even as we suffer? And to realize that we have a greater hope that is tied up with the return of Jesus. So that even our suffering there makes us long for the new creation even more. Long answer. Let me give you one more thing. Turn to the parts of the Bible that give us the words to cry out in the midst of our suffering. And in that short talk that I did for you, I mentioned the Psalms. So at the moment in my church, we are reading through some of the Psalms. And how's this for something that you could pray in the midst of your suffering? Let me just read it. Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger. Do not discipline me in your wrath. Be gracious to me, Lord, for I am weak. Heal me, Lord, for my bones are shaking. My whole being is shaken with terror. And you, Lord, how long? Turn, Lord. Rescue me. Save me because of your faithful love. It gives us words. You go through the Psalms. It gives us great words to cry out in the midst of suffering. And the rest of the Bible will remind us that we have a great hope in the midst of suffering. Is that okay? I really went on with that answer, but the reason is because suffering is such a a huge and real topic that it's good for us to realize the scope of what we are being offered in Jesus and through the Bible.